The day after the Giro D'Italia had seen its GC change, there was another chance for Isaac Del Toro to defend. There's a new rider in white, and Wout van Aert was hoping to try and move Simon Yates further towards the Maglia Rosa. Things had all changed. Bernal had been aggressive, Roglic was out, Ayuso no longer in the general. Del Toro was still the leader, but his lead was much less. Just 26 seconds over Yates, 31 in front of Richard Carapaz, and this is the profile that awaited them. 155 kilometers for stage 17. The mighty Mortirolo taken on after the Passo del Tonale, but climbing from the easier Monno side as opposed to the hellish Mazzo. A finish in Bormio where only Giro d'Italia winners had ever won before. Thankfully no rain at the start, but there was the usual fast, furious and frantic beginning. Really difficult to try and establish a breakaway. There was a collection of yellow Visma Lease bike jerseys at the front. There were a few splits with riders caught behind, Van Ayuso included. Jay Vine was off the back too. Later, he'd end up abandoning the race. It all came back together for the intermediate sprint at Claes, hometown of former world champion Maurizio Fondriest and former world champion Lars Pedersen taking the sprint. There was an early attack from the Maglia Rosa, Isaac Del Toro getting into the front split and causing panic behind, but it was quickly rectified by those involved. A big group would go away. A big group of almost 40 riders in the end. It seemed as though Visma Lease Bike were happy, as were UAE. They both had riders up there. Visma as many as 4 potential helpers later in the stage for their main man Yates. At the top of the Passo del Tonale, there were yet more mountain points for Lorenzo Fortunato, who'd made it into the break. Behind Picnic, Postanel controlled. They wanted the best position for the descent. Up ahead, there was their main man Romain Bardet. Polti Visit Malta were riding to try and protect the general classification position outside the top 10 of young Davide Piganzoli. And at the start of the Mortirolo, 60 kilometers to go, it was almost 4 minutes of a gap from breakaway that was breaking down all the time to what was left of the peloton. An early victim of the rhythm in the main group was Antonio Tiberi, in the white jersey looking after it, but off the back, as Romain Bardet attacked at the front. Towards the top of the Mortirolo in the main peloton, Richard Carapaz was looking sprightly. Eulalio off the front as well, getting beyond Bardet. And selections were made there and in the Maglia Rosa group, where Carapaz went properly very close to the top. Del Toro out of position. Pellizzari riding well close to him. Yates caught up with the Maglia Rosa, Bernal as well. How would they all react? Eulalio took maximum points over the top. King of the Mountains already decided that. Carapaz continued to try and build a lead. Simon Yates and Maglia Rosa Del Toro coming back. The gap was around 15 to 20 seconds at most. But Carapaz, with his ability on the descent, would be looking to pull things out as it was getting technical, and it was starting to rain a little bit. Bernal losing a little bit of time as well. And we'd have to wait to see the gaps on the groups as we got to the bottom. Eulalio, Cattaneo and Bardet ended up at the front. Pellizzari was pushing on behind. He was trying to join Carapaz. He would do at the bottom of the group. 5 riders were at the front: Stork, Fortunato, Bardet, Cattaneo and Eulalio. The Maglia Rosa tried to get things going in terms of a chase. Steinhauser, who'd been in the breakaway in the morning, tried to drive Carapaz away, but the gap was 20 seconds at most with 32 Ks to go. Bodies behind, one coming back from the break, Brandon McNulty, helped to tow Carapaz back, and the danger was over for the moment. Out ahead, 8 riders got together thinking of the stage win. Dani Martinez alongside Matthias Vacek joining the front. And behind the Maglia Rosa group working hard. Q36.5 really sacrificed themselves. They were hoping to set up Pidcock. With 12 Ks to go at the start of the final climb of the day, riders continue to drop back. Martinez helping Pellizzari. The gap was under 20 seconds, and Bernal started to lose contact. This was another stage where there was action everywhere. Romain Bardet attacked and was out the front, alone with 20 seconds of a gap. But then this, the Maglia Rosa going off in search of more. The only man who could live with him was Richard Carapaz. Bardet at his last Grand Tour with a Vuelta stage win, Tour stage wins, looking for a Giro stage win to complete the set, was ahead. But he was caught by the attacking twosome with 5.5 Ks to go. Behind, they struggled to get organised. They were trailing by 11 seconds. Bernal in a further group back, losing almost a minute. And the descent to Bormio saw a couple of curves. They were expertly navigated by the young Mexican. 21 years of age, the youngest Giro leader this century, going into the final kilometre with a handful of seconds. Carapaz and Bardet looked like they were just about to miss out, and that indeed proved to be true, with a twisty, turny rise to the finish. 24 hours after his Giro looked like it was dying away, Isaac del Toro was very much alive and kicking. A first ever Giro d'Italia stage win, and in the Maglia Rosa, ahead of a broken-hearted Bardet and Carapaz. More bonus seconds, a gap to those behind, an increase in the lead in the Maglia Rosa, and Isaac del Toro celebrating a very special day. Yates drove home the group behind. There were good days too for G, Poole, Pellizzari and company. Pidcock leading the group belonging to Bernal further back. And celebration for UAE Team Emirates. Mexico, their young man del Toro, very much alive and in this Giro. What a way to bounce back. And after being in trouble at the top of the Mortirolo, even more so. Another spellbinding stage. A stage win in the pink jersey. A dream way to get your stage-winning career in Grand Tours off to the right start. An increase in the lead. 2 massive mountain stages still to go, but it's looking better than it did 24 hours ago for UAE Team Emirates and Isaac del Toro. And a reminder that winners in Bormio have always been Giro d'Italia winners. Will that trend continue? Watch with us every day to find out. Next up, more mountains, but they come much earlier in the stage. This could be an opportunity for the breakaway or even sprinters if they get over the early climbs. It's down the valley onto the plain for a finish. Stage 18 with finish laps around Cesano Moderno. And it's just 144 kilometres for the final day that could be anything for 2 last big GC assaults in the Val d'Aosta.